Let's hear from some of the people in the audience. On Fridays, we go to the phones. We don't really have phones anymore. Now it's Discord. You can find the Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. Let's hear from some folks. Let's start with Mike from Massachusetts. Mike, what's going on today? What's on your mind? What can I do for you?
Hey, David, how you doing? Thanks
Doing
for having
well.
me on. Um, so I have two questions. One a little bit more practical. One a little bit more kind of what's what I'm looking for. Just kind of more
Theoretical?
speculative. More
Okay.
speculative. I'll start with the practical one. So it's been pretty disheartening watching the reaction from both the right and the left in regard to Israel and Hamas in
Mm-hmm.
Palestine the last few weeks. um, you know, just this blind loyalty to Israel on the right, and some people on the left actually supporting Hamas. It's very disappointing. But
Yeah.
my question is, it's extra disappointing because it seemed like we were starting to see a little bit of a shift in people's mentality, both in Israel and in America, at least on the
Hmm.
left, to kind of bring a little bit more attention to the suffering of Palestine since 1947. And also in Israel, we saw a large protest in Netanyahu's efforts to strip the court of powers and kind of consolidate power around his executive branch.
Yes.
Do you think that all these movements are now back to square one because of this conflict, or do you think there's still hope to move them forward despite everything?
Well, I do think that to some degree, when Hamas carried out its terrorist attack, it was so heinous and outrageous in its targeting of overtly innocent people. I would just met someone the other day whose family is from a kibbutz that's only like 5 kilometers from the border. They've just been ordered to evacuate, just basically told like, you just shouldn't even be here. So, when all of that happened, I do think that a bunch of the focus on pushing forward for whatever could be achieved for Gazans and Palestinians more broadly was in some sense supplanted by the immediate need. Is something going on back there?
I'm taking care of my son. He's just
Oh, okay, I
having a
gotcha.
ball.
I'm sure that he also sounds extremely concerned by the conflict in the Middle East. I will admit. No, listen. I mean, yes, I do think that the fact that even though all of the normal stuff is being said, like Israel's overreacting, and now they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, and the U.S. is too supportive. All the normal stuff that's always said is being said, but it also had the practical effect of taking appropriate attention off of the push for what I believe should be a Palestinian state. It derailed talks between Israel and Saudi Arabia for normalization of relations, which I think would have been a good thing. And yeah, I think that absolutely is the case.
That's very, very unfortunate because it seems like we were finally making a little bit of progress on this issue. But
Absolutely.
I'll get to my speculative question. Then I'll let you move on. And I'm going to preface this by saying it's wild. It's just a wild speculative thought. There's no evidence to this, but just something that crossed my mind. There was reporting that Egypt had warned Israel that Hamas could be up to something.
Mm.
And doesn't seem like Netanyahu did much with that information. If anything, he took troops away from the Gaza border and moved them to the West Bank. Do you think it's possible that Netanyahu maybe thought this might be coming and let it happen to rally the people around him?
This is like the Bush allowed 9/11 to happen thing. I've seen some of the same speculative stuff that you're referring to. I would be so hesitant to weigh in on it only because it's very poorly sourced, and I don't know. I mean, it is extraordinarily speculative. I would be shocked if either Bush or Netanyahu said, let's allow this to happen because it'll be good politically. Not paying enough
That's
attention to warnings that they were given. Okay, now we're more in the realm of what I would consider realistic. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on it.
No, that's a good point. I didn't think about it in the context of like people saying the same thing about 9/11, which I don't agree with at all. So
Yeah.
that's true. It's a good point. Like I said, speculative thought. Just wanted to get your thoughts on it. So thanks for taking the time.
Appreciate it. All right, Mike from Massachusetts. Great to hear from you. One of our sponsors today is Zippix Nicotine Toothpicks. Zippix brings you a convenient alternative to smoking and vaping. And the vape clouds, the ashtrays, the thing in your lip that people can see. I've seen that around. This is an easier and less messy way to curb the cravings, and you can use Zippix just about anywhere. Zippix is available in 6 flavors with 2 or 3 milligram strength. The nicotine and the flavor are long-lasting, and Zippix has helped countless people kick the bad habits, and they are bad habits. Zippix toothpicks are FDA registered. Their customer service is second to none. It is one of the most cost-effective alternatives. Also, check out their B12 and caffeine toothpicks. See for yourself why so many people have switched to Zippix toothpicks. You can only get Zippix online. Quitting has never been easier with Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Go to zippix.com, get 10% off with the code PACMAN10 at checkout. The link is down below.